Welcome to Storytime, guys. This is the first one in 6 months, and you'll have to bear with us as we learn all this new technology so that we can actually see your pretty faces and your smiles. Today we're going to be reading 2 Berenstain Bear books for you, and we hope you enjoy. And parents, we are planning on doing some of the STEM boxes and kits in the future, but for now, today we're just going to read some fun stories. If you guys need to contact us, you are welcome to. We are open all our regular business hours, so come in and see Mrs. Dawn and myself. My name is Miss Whitney, and I am going to be doing story time from here on out, so I hope you enjoy. The Berenstain Bears and the Slumber Party by Stan and Jen Berenstain. One of the most interesting things about a telephone is that when it rings, you don't know who's calling until you answer it. Sometimes when the phone rang in the Bear's treehouse, it was for Papa. Papa Bear was a furniture maker, and customers often called about buying a table or chair. "Yes, I think I can handle that. How soon would you need it?" Sometimes it was Grizzly Gran calling Mama about getting together for a visit. "This weekend? That will be fine, Gran." When the call was for Brother Bear, it was usually Cousin Freddie with a question about homework. "The fifth problem? I got 6.5. What did you get?" When it was for Sister Bear, it was almost always her best friend, Lizzie Bruin. "It's for you, sister. It's Lizzie." And Lizzie almost always had some big idea, a tea party for their stuffed animals, going to the attic and dressing up in grown-ups' clothes, or organizing a sorority and using Farmer Ben's old chicken coop as a clubhouse. With permission, of course. "It's okay with me, but I think I should warn you." P.U. But today, Lizzie was calling with her best idea yet. "A slumber party tonight at your house? Great idea," said Sister. "Just a few of my dearest friends," Lizzie continued. "You, of course, and Anna and Millie and Queenie. Bring your sleeping bag, and would you bring your tape player? Anna and Millie are bringing tapes, and Queenie's going to teach us the latest dance steps." "I don't know," Mama Bear said later. "You've never slept away from home before." "Oh, but I have," protested Sister, "at Grizzly Gramps and Gran's, one time for a whole week." "That's different," said Mama. "Gramps and Gran are family, close family." "The Bruins are neighbors," argued Sister. "Close neighbors." "Oh, please, Mama, it will be such fun. I'm taking my player. Anna and Millie have great tapes, and Queenie is going to teach us the latest dance steps. Please, Mama." "Oh, I suppose it'll be all right," sighed Mama. "Come on, let's start getting you organized for this slumber party." "You know," she said as she checked out Sister's sleeping bag, it still had some leaves stuck to it from a family sleepout. Sleeping over at a friend's house is kind of a special privilege, and something that goes with privilege is responsibility. Do you know what those words mean?" "Sure," said Sister. "Privilege means being allowed to do stuff, and responsibility means not messing up." "Now you remember what your mama told you about privilege and responsibility," said Papa Bear, as Sister started off to Lizzie Bruin's. "I will, Papa, I will," she said. But Sister wasn't very far along the road to Lizzie's before she began thinking about all the fun and excitement she was going to have at the party. It didn't take long for those thoughts to push Mama's advice about privilege and responsibility clear out of her head. Another interesting thing about telephones is they help news travel fast, especially news about parties. Anna told her other friends about the slumber party, and they told their friends. Millie did the same. Pretty soon, cubs from all over the neighborhood were calling Lizzie and asking if they could come to the party. "Sure," she said, "but bring some popcorn or soda. We don't want to run out." Too Tall Grizzly didn't hear about the party by phone. He heard about it when he and his gang went to show Queenie his new boombox. A slumber party," he said to his pals. "Sounds like fun." "How are we going to get invited to a girls' party?" asked one of them. "We're not going to get invited, stupid," said Too Tall. "We're going to crash, boombox and all." Later, when the rest of the Bear family had settled down for a quiet evening at home, Mama Bear sighed and said, I'm sure she'll be all right. Of course she will, said Papa Bear, looking up from a magazine. After all, Mama said, Sister is a well-behaved little cub, and Mr. and Mrs. Bruin have a lovely, well-ran home and are responsible, careful parents. No doubt about it, said Papa, going back to his reading. There was only one problem. Mr. and Mrs. Bruin weren't home. They had gone out for the evening and left Lizzie in the care of a teenage sitter who wasn't much older than some of Lizzie's guests. The Bruins hadn't planned on a slumber party when Lizzie had asked for a few friends to sleep over. And they certainly hadn't planned on a rip-roaring, ear-splitting, popcorn-throwing, soda-squirting party for half the cubs in the neighborhood, because that's what was happening, with Sister right in the thick of it. The only thing that wasn't happening at the slumber party was slumber. Lizzie's sitter tried to keep things under control, but she couldn't even make herself heard over the noise. You never heard such a commotion. Some neighbors up the road had never heard such a commotion either. They called the police. The chief sent over Officer Marguerite to investigate. She reached the Bruins' house the same time Mr. and Mrs. Bruin were returning home. Well, things calmed down pretty quickly after that. The party was canceled, parents were called, Lizzie was sent to bed, and an angry, disappointed Mama Bear came to take Sister home. I'm angry and disappointed, said Mama Bear as they walked home through the night, after all the things I said about privilege and responsibility. Sister was grounded and sent to bed, doubly grounded, which meant that she had to stay in her room all a day and in the house for a week. Pretty harsh punishment, commented Papa Bear a little later. Not harsh at all, said Mama. You should have seen the Bruins' living room. Popcorn stuck to everything, soda all over the place, lamps knocked over, an absolute disgrace. After all I said about privilege and responsibility. Sister does have to share the blame, said Papa, but she didn't do it all by herself. It was one of those situations where one thing leads to another and things get out of control. But you know, my dear, privilege and responsibility aren't just for cubs. They're for parents, too. Cushions all strewn about, said Mama. It's a privilege to have cubs, and with privilege goes responsibility, continued Papa. So we're partly to blame, too. When Lizzie invited Sister to the slumber party, it was our responsibility to call the Bruins. If we had, we would have found out they were going to be out for the evening, and the whole thing would have been nipped in the bud. Thought Mama. The next morning, she canceled the grounding and took Sister over to the Bruins to help clean up. Anna, Millie, and Queenie had come to help, too. I know what, said Lizzie. As full of ideas as ever, let's make this a cleanup party. Let's not, said Sister, and if you don't mind, Liz, I don't want to hear the word party again for a long time. The Berenstain Bears, Old Hat, New Hat by Stan and Jen Berenstain. Old Hat. Old hat, new hat. Hats, new hat, new hat, new hat, new hat. Too big, too small. Too flat, too tall. Too loose. Too tight, too heavy, too light, too red, too dotty, too blue, too spotty, too fancy, too frilly, too shiny, too silly, too beady, too bumpy, too leafy, too lumpy, too twisty, too twirly, too wrinkly, too curly. Too holy, too patchy, too feathery, too scratchy, too crooked, too straight, too pointed. Wait. just right. Just right. Just right, just right, just right. New hat, old hat. And we have many, many more. We have some that Mike Berenstain, their son, has also created. We Love the Library. We have Too Much TV, Pet Rescue, The Slumber Party, which I just read, Home Sweet Home, Santa Bear, and we have many more Christmas books as well. But come in, stop in, and read a few just for fun, or take some home to read. We would look forward to seeing you.